Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. On behalf of ACFE 1 chapter, I welcome you all in today's webinar session, the Auditor Slingshot. Let's start with a confession. When most people think of auditing, they don't think of a weapon of agility and speed. They think of a shield, they think of a compliance, defense, and looking backward at what has already happened. For decades, the auditor has been viewed as the referee, someone who steps in after the play to tell you what went wrong. But the business world is not playing a slow, a predictable game anymore. It is moving at a supersonic speed driven by AI, massive data, and constant disruption. If we stay in defense mode, we get left behind. That is what exactly why we are here today. We are shifting the narrative. We are trading the shield for a slingshot. We have joined by Dr. Iram Ansari, Director Training Research and Development of ACFE 1 chapter, and our today's speaker, Mr. Chidambaram. Without any further ado, I will call Dr. Iram for speaker introduction. Over to you, Dr. Iram.
Thank you, Harsan. Welcome everyone to the webinar. In recognition of the Internal Audit Month, we welcome our speaker, Chidambaram Narayanan. He is a chartered accountant and CISA with over 20 years of experience across internal audit, IT audit, risk management, and governance. He has been recognized by the audit thought leader, Richard Chambers, as an audit beacon for both 2024 and 2025 for his contributions to advancing the profession. He is an active global speaker. Chidambaram recently presented on the future of internal audit at the Guinness World Record-breaking 24-hour audit conference. He is also a passionate mentor and knowledge sharer and has served as a board member and chapter leader at the ISACA Muscat chapter, emceeing numerous events for ISACA as well as ACFE Oman. Today, he will be presenting the Auditor's Slingshot, taking us through why the modern Goliaths fall to power of small discrepancies. Thank you, Chidambaram, and over to you.
Thank you, Hassan. Thank you, Dr. Iram. It's really a warm welcome to everyone who's joined in. I would advise you to take a virtual seat because we're going to take a short ride today. I would say ride because, it's not a topic which we can just, it's only 1 hour today, but then it's not a topic which I can finish in 1 hour. So what I will do mostly is to whet your appetite, to give you a teaser of what can happen and what can you do in your own work. So ACFE Oman chapter has, given us this opportunity. So thank you once again on behalf of the ACFE team. Really, thank you a lot. So this is internal audit month, as we all know. So we are coming to a close of the month. So from an auditor's perspective, because I am being an auditor through and through. So from an auditor's perspective, I am going to talk about a topic which we all are really familiar with, but from a different perspective on the topic. The topic is materiality. See, regardless of who you are, what you do, you are an auditor, not an auditor, you are into engineering, mathematics, you can be in research, you can do whatever you want, and ultimately every day in day out we listen to stories about big frauds happening across the world, huge scandals which come, scams which come. And when you listen to these huge companies across various countries which are doing this, the first thought that you think about is that how do I take this guy down? I mean, this is such a huge giant, and probably something huge is happening there. How do I do it? This is probably the first thing that we think about, and somebody has to do something for it. It's the second thought probably that comes into our minds. So throughout my career into auditing and some investigations as well, I have had my fair share of what I call as Goliaths. From the Bible, this is from the story of David versus Goliath. So that is where I have drawn my inspiration from. So systematic fraud, multi-million-dollar embezzlements, corporate cover-ups, you name it, you got it, everything that makes the front page. Now, we are always taught to look at the big picture. What is more material in terms of value or quantification or whatever it may. But today, I'm going to take you to completely the opposite direction and say Materiality does matter, but it is not always the way in which your scandals are coming out or being blown out. To validate my statement of this, I know it's a booming statement which I'm making. To validate that, I am going to give you 3 case studies today. And I'm also going to give you something to take away from this session, as in how you can adopt it in your own, the way you work wherever you are. Okay, so let's get into it. As I told you, the reason why I'm calling it as the auditor slingshot is because David, in the story of David and Goliath, did not carry a sword. He did not carry even a shield. Goliath was such a huge giant, and he just used precision and pebbles, a slingshot. He just used a slingshot and hit him, and then he fell. So in our corporate world, the Goliath which we are facing is the complexity of our systems. You have millions of transactions, thousands of vendors. So many transactions are happening and so many codes are there. It feels like mountains and mountains of data. Too much noise, too little time, too little resources. And yet these are all built by humans, right? So humans are flawed. Humans become tired. Humans make mistakes. That's precisely what I'm going to do. And I'm going to tell you. So before we get into it, we're going to play a small game. Okay. All of you have to play the game. Okay. I'm going to show you a visual. On the visual, I'll explain to you when the visual comes up. You will have about 2 minutes. The clock will keep ticking. Once you have completed the activity on the visual, you will have to give your comments in the chat box. Okay, Hassan, if you can help us with the chat box, whoever is putting, and then we can look at that. All right. So let's get started on this. So this is what it is. There are 2 pictures. Within 2 minutes, there are 7 differences in this. It's not 11 seconds. I'm giving you generously 2 minutes. Just a quick warm up for your eyes and your brain. Identify all the 7, and once you're done, just put a yes in the chat box. Let's see how many have already cracked it. Hassan, can you enable the chat box?
Yes, it is enabled.
Okay, it is saying disabled for me. So
Same here.
right, it's open now. I hope you're all playing this game because there is a reason why I'm asking you to do this.
Chidambaram, you can see, right?
I am not able to see anything.
There is yes,
I
there
saw
is
only one yes.
one
Till now.
yes, and there's 3 yes.
Abraham, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't do that on the screen. Let's wait for all the others to try. I'll give it about 30 more seconds. I saw only one yes until now.
I'm sorry, if you can just hear my voice. The chat is disabled. We cannot write anything.
Hassan, can you enable the chat for everyone, please? That's better.
Please confirm whether it is okay.
Yeah, so far so good. Okay, last 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, time's up. Time's up. No more trying. I hope you all got it. I'll show you the answers just in case you didn't get anything. Is there anybody who didn't get all this? I mean, who missed anything until now? All right, I'll show the answers quickly. These are the 7 places. The bird is on the other way around. On the bamboo, there is a shoot which is not there on the other side. The grass is green on this, whereas it is on a different color on the other side. The elephant has closed its eyes. There is no tail on the elephant, and so on. Okay, there's a cloud here and so on. So these are the 7. Okay, yeah, that was fast. Your brain did not require to read a manual. It did not read to require anything else. And it was like a snap of a finger, you were able to do it by instinct. Okay, the stakes are very low. It is just a visual, it is for fun, right? What if I tell you that the error in the next slide, which I'm going to show you one more, we're going to play one more. The error is worth 10 million US dollars. If you make a mistake, 10 million US dollars will go into the wrong hands. Okay, right? Are you ready? Well, here we go. Rules are the same. You have identified it. Just put what you have identified as the error in the chat box. Okay, the stakes are really, really high. 10 million US dollars are at stake. For everything possible, all the places. Well, has anybody got it? Yes, somebody's got it. Well done. Are you sure that is the only one? Only one? Sure? Right, we're going to give 5 more seconds and then we are going to close and reveal the right answer. Are you sure there are only one errors in, I mean, there is only one error in the entire, both the invoices on the left as well as on the right? Have you made sure? You are the auditor. Okay, there are 2. Okay, love to hear the second one as well. Okay, love to hear the second one. Can you list out both? Okay, let's close it. Let's get on with it. So apparently it looks exactly same. It looks exactly same. Having said that, this is the main difference. Luxembourg and Luxembourg. Okay, you are all looking for the total, you were looking for signatures, dates, and what not, and where all things are. And you were all looking at the big picture. $10 million were at stake, right? This is exactly my point. This is the pebble. This is the materiality trap. While we are all engaged and engrossed in the big numbers, something huge and all that, ultimately it is just one misspelled error which brought this down. Okay, this could go to an offshore company or a shell company, or it can go to the real people, the real vendor. The choice is yours. As an auditor, you don't have much of an option. The stakes are super high, but it's a small mistake that leads to it. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 use cases or real life incidents which have happened in our history. Okay, right from the 1970s until the recent times. 3 isolated incidents, all are completely different from each other, but in the broad spectrum of what I'm speaking, it is all correlated. Okay, I'm going to get into a movie. This is a movie called Dog Day Afternoon. That's Al Pacino in the movie and on the screen. This is based on a real life story. This is a 1975 movie, but it's a 1972 real life incident which happened in a bank in the US, where 2 petty thieves planned a bank heist for more than a couple of months. Okay, August 22nd, 1972 is the exact date. They wanted to go into the bank, take out the cash which was in the vault, in the safe, remove that. It was roughly, they had estimated around $200,000. Okay, and they planned it very meticulously. They knew what was going to happen, when it was going to happen. They had everything assigned. They had the getaway car as well. But they went a little late. Okay, that's the first thing which they did. The second thing which they did, having gone inside, okay, they realized that $200,000 was no longer there because it had already been taken in armored truck, and it was going to be deposited into the main headquarters of the bank. This is Chase Manhattan Bank. And what happened next was really the ultimate thing. They could have just gotten away with it. They could have just walked out of it and nobody would have gotten anything, because there were only $1,500 or something in the safe which was left, which was the collection of the day. Somebody had deposited some amount. That was what that was left. However, having said that, they did not do that. They got stressed out. They didn't realize what to do. They panicked. So what this guy did, the guy who was on the screen, who was acted by Al Pacino is Sonny. So Sonny, what he did, he took the cash register, which is the daily list of cash transactions, the logs of whatever comes on that day. He took it in a spate of anger. He burnt it in the trash can. And what happens when you burn something? Smoke goes up. He was a professional criminal, but he missed this chance. So smoke went up. People saw smoke coming out of the building and they thought some fire is going on, and they alerted the police. The police came, they surrounded the entire bank. Then they suddenly realized it was a hostage situation, and that went on for 14 hours. Okay, and then the whole chaos burst into the public. Media came, everybody was shooting videos out of these guys, because this was back in 1972, mind you. Okay, all it could have just been that they could have planned it better. Of course, they planned it very well, but then just they could have gotten away with it had they not burned that particular cash register. So this is my first use case, that a trash can fire led to a scandal coming out in the open. It became a media circus across the world. It became, at least in the US, it became an overnight circus. Okay, so one control could have saved them. Right. Next one, second one. Second one, there is a 50 cents anomaly. Okay, materiality tells us that we don't chase anything which is very small. Would you, as an accountant, as an auditor, as a fraud finder, would you chase something for 50 cents? Would you? Does it make a difference to you? No, right? I mean, ultimately, 50 cents is just 50 cents, regardless of where you are. Even if it is in the 1900s, even if I go back 300 years ago, 50 cents is a very small amount. It's not a financial loss. It is nothing. But what if I told you back in the 1970s, a 50 cent anomaly resulted in the fall of the US president? Would you believe it? I mean, you will think that I'm joking, right? Right? 50 cents lead to a downfall of a president? No way. I mean, where will it happen? No way. However, it did happen. This again is in the US, sometime in the early 1970s, where in the Watergate scandal, okay, it's a complex scandal which happened in the Watergate hotel. So there is this security guard. He is just going through his rounds at the middle of the night. There is a small tape which is attached to a door. The door is kept ajar. So he's wondering why the door is kept ajar and why there is a tape attached to it so that it can be kept open so people can wedge their way out and in. So what they did, a series of events had happened. See, these guys from the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate office complex, which was in the same office complex in Washington, D.C., these guys had broken in. Okay, they had taken out a lot of things from there. They had stolen money. They had stolen various tapes. See, ultimately what they realized is this guy didn't know anything. He just was investigating a tape, which is a small bit of sticker which was pasted on a door. And then when he reported it, people realized that something had happened. So the theft was reported in the news. When the theft was reported, people started looking at why there was a theft in the first place. Okay. And the people, there were two investigative journalists, Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein. Okay. They started investigating what exactly is going on. So what had happened was President Richard Nixon, who was the president in the 1970s, for his re-election campaign, he had done a lot of hanky-panky things. And he had requested his team, who were actually called the White House plumbers. They were called the White House plumbers because they were fixing things. Wherever there were problems, they were going and fixing, and closing the audit trails. So they had campaign money, which was really, bad campaign money, if you can say it, illegal money, which was being funded into this, siphoned into this, and they were using it for, getting back Richard Nixon as the US president again. And he would have gotten away with it had it not been for that particular tape. And investigative journalists, those two guys, they went on and they revealed many things, including illegal methods, wiretapping, political sabotage, many things which are happening inside the White House by President Nixon and all his team. So if you think about it, Watergate scandal was such a huge thing. A president is asked to resign for the first time in the history of the United States. Probably in 150 plus years, it has never happened. Presidents have been assassinated. Presidents have gone through various bad impeachments and all that, but they were never required to resign. For the first time, a US president resigned because of corruptive deals and shady things. Okay, and this was the first ever instance, and it all happened because of a 50 cent anomaly. So coming back to my metaphor, okay, that Goliath, so it can be so huge. It can be Watergate, it can be a bank which is getting robbed by two big small time thieves, but then a big number is going to come into their pocket, right? But something as simple as just a trash can fire, which alerted many people, and a 50-cent anomaly in the form of a tape which was put on a door. Well, 24-year-old security guard Frank Willis, he found the tape, and that is now stored in a museum. Okay, now imagine the way things are going around here, right? So the lesson which I'm trying to bring out is that yes, we are all looking at materiality. We are all looking for something huge. But Goliaths don't fail because we just are waiting for a big thing to be identified. We are also have to look at the small aspects of it. I'm going to give you one more, okay? And then I'll give you how to overcome this or how do you identify this. Our third case for the day is the 11.5 million files of data, which was with this organization called Mossack Fonseca. Now, Mossack Fonseca is a huge organization. They have been maintaining more than 200,000 shell companies for prime ministers, billionaires, drug lords, you name it, the who's who of the world, the celebrities of the world. They're holding all their secret accounts in shell companies and overseas accounts and Cayman Islands and whatnot. It was a global fortress, 11.5 million files. Now, how do you identify this? How was it even identified? In 2015, a message came to a particular German newspaper. Just a person named John Doe. John Doe is something where you want to remain anonymous, you give that name to yourself, right? So John Doe is a person who writes to this German newspaper, and he just says, my life is in danger. Now, those words changed history. The largest data leak in human history happened because of this message. A mountain of files, 11.5 million files. All the private secrets of the world's elite crowd, passport, shell companies, bank records, all of that which was considered as untouchable, Mossack Fonseca was holding that, and they all came out. Okay, now how did this happen? I mean, you are talking about something huge, right? 11.5 million files, and how does it happen because just of a single error or a warning message? Well, you will be interested to know that it all happened because of a typographical error. John Doe, when he said, my life is in danger, people started looking at it more closely. 2.6 terabytes of data. Okay. All of that stuff, which was held by this giant, the Goliath of secrets. When journalists were looking at these papers, Panama papers started leaking out slowly. They used supercomputers. Of course, AI was not there at that point in time, but something similar to that, some technologies were there. They actually were looking for consistency in inconsistencies. So they identified, like for example, if you see typographical errors in the name of the United States, the states itself, Montana is Montana. Here it is Montana. Texas is Texas. Hawaii is Hawaii. So these are unique typographical errors in the company names, the addresses, in the state names, and so on, which were in thousands of different documents. Just like we saw, right? See, that Luxembourg question which I asked you is used in a lot of case studies. It's not something which I just conjured up out of the blue. People use that for whether people are alert or not. They use it as a case study or an activity to jumpstart somebody into this. So the forensic slingshot which happened and all of these three things is that small mistakes lead to the downfall of even huge giants. Okay, so three instances I have given you now. The first, of course, was our Chase Manhattan Bank thieves who were not successful, who got caught in the end because of a small thing. Then we had the Watergate scandal, which happened because of a small tape which was laid out. And the third one is the Panama Papers, the biggest leak in human history in terms of data leakage because of typographical errors. Now, food for thought for you all. Are you looking for all of these things when you are doing audit? Or are you looking for the big picture, which probably is a good thing to do, but it may not lead you down the right path also. So are you doing this or that? Probably food for thought. This is probably what you're thinking. I know you have a deadline, you will have a pile of work, you have limited staff, you end up doing sampling. You check 5% of the invoices, 10% of the invoices. You don't have manpower, you don't have the wherewithals, you don't have the capacity. Are you looking for the proverbial needle in the haystack? Right? You are probably saying, you are not saying it, but you're thinking out aloud that how do I do all of this stuff? You are saying all of these small things you have to look for. Where do I go and look for it? I don't have the enough resources. I am going to give you 5 pebbles, like the way David had in his slingshot, in his pouch, okay, in his waistcoat. I'm going to give you 5 slingshot pebbles. Use them wisely, because if you use them wisely, you can bring down any Goliath in the world. All right, let's look at those 5. Right. The first one, business rule checks. This is the gatekeeper. You need to stop auditing after the money leaves the building, after the transaction is completed. See, Hassan in his precursor, he told very clearly, auditors, whenever we think of auditors, we think of them as somebody who does post-mortem. Now somebody is already dead. We are looking at them and then saying, okay, how did he die? What happened to him? Where did he die? Which is natural causes? Is it disease? Is it murder? And then he looks at more reasons and so on. Forget about it. Move that control to the front door before the transaction even happens. So how do you do that? Create a mandatory pre-approval field in the system. You have to tweak your systems and your processes in such a way that, let's say, a new vendor is getting, let's say payments, a new vendor is getting created, and the new vendor doesn't have a verified tax ID. Now you as an auditor should have a built-in control, a business rule, that if there is no tax ID or a valid information or something which is very critical for you to ensure that this is a genuine person or a genuine vendor or a genuine entity, lock it there. Just lock that entity, lock that entry itself. Don't allow it to pass. This is the first part. Okay, what is the second part? Standardize the vendor data. The vendor master data is something which we all have created probably 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and we're just inheriting it. Even if we change our systems, we don't change our vendor data. We don't change our vendor master. We don't review it. I mean, let's be honest. Let's put this on the table. Have we ever reviewed it? Have you ever had the chance of doing that? Have you standardized that into what it can be to make sure that you can optimize it to the extent that you can catch hold of these kind of illegitimate or I can say illegal transactions or potentially illegal transactions or fraudulent transactions? No. That is the second aspect of it. So if, let's say, our address field is a PO box or somebody's residential address, immediately look for it to be reviewed. Look at a forcible manual review. If you can't do it through system, do a manual review before the record is saved, before the entry is even created. This is a ghost. This is what we call as a ghost vendor in normal parlance, in fraud parlance. A ghost entity cannot be allowed to be created, because the minute you are allowing it to be created, then God save you cannot stop it anywhere. The next is the fingerprint layer, or the data analytics, or the various techniques of data analytics. See, needle is made of steel or stainless steel. How do we remove a needle from a haystack? Use a magnet. This is the magnet for that. So what do you do? I know if you want me to give you practical aspects, I'll give you two. Map your vendors by bank routing number. Bank routing number is unique to a vendor. It cannot change. If you find two unique vendors, okay, sharing the same account, that's not a data entry error. Probably it is. You can investigate that further, but it is definitely something fishy there. The same guy is trying to masquerade as multiple people and fooling you. They are just trying to siphon the money through other means. Or somebody has tampered with your data. Either way, the data analytics tool will tell you. It need not be a tool that you need. You can use simple Excel file, Power BI, right? The next is the fuzzy matching. Now the fuzzy matching catches what I call as a copy-paste curse. Now copy-paste curse means you just copy and paste it somewhere else and you don't know, you have not validated it. It is just going through and it's gone. It is saved. So look for a search of vendors with names that are similar or identical, not the same. Okay, but spelled differently, like Luxembourg and Luxembourg. Something like that, which is very similar, but it's not exactly the same. Or the first name is the same, or some part of the name is already there, and they're having some other name after that, or some other word after that. Probably it is a group company, or it is part of a type of shell companies, right? Look for this duplicate entry alarm, fuzzy matching. Let us look at layer 3. Layer 3 is the smoke detector or the transaction review. Now, this is why I call it a smoke detector, is because we are not looking at the dollar amount here. We are looking at the human behavior. Here, we all know the fraud triangle, right? The fraud triangle gives you a lot of options, opportunity, rationalization, and so on. Human behavior is at the root of everything. So look at something like, how do you identify people who are approving invoices at like this? Invoices are coming within a few seconds, they are getting approved. Okay, 50 invoices in 2 minutes. Is it possible? Somebody is doing something in the middle of the night or sometime outside the office hours, 3 a.m. He is passing 100 entries in the books. Something is really fishy. Human behavior, panic sets into everyone. Anyone can burn their cash register and the smoke can come. Anybody can put a tape on a door and you can get it missed. These are small human behavioral mistakes which we do, which will result in huge frauds being identified. Monitor the access logs. Any payment that is authorized via a public VPN or from outside your region, which is not where you don't do business or you don't have offices, remember that people don't always leave a paper trail, especially when they want to commit a fraud. They will not do anything on paper. They will always do online, right? So digital trail will always be there. Digital footprint will be there. Layer number 4 is what I call as the pattern finder, machine learning. Now, machine learning models have been developed for the last so many years, and we have so many tools which are available online, paid tools, free tools, whatever it may be. We have to stop looking for only fraud straight away. we need to start looking for the weird things in life. Thresholds. Tell your system using machine learning models for looking for payment that are just under. Let's say you are having a cutoff of 5,000 Omani Riyal or $5,000. So people who are just making payments of 4,999 or 4,997 or a very round, not a round figure, but an odd figure, 4991.2501, something like whatever. Very different looking numbers. Weird stuff. This is where it gets hidden. These are the patterns which are lying in plain sight. Okay, next. Use what I call as the apprentice approach. Every time you clear an alert, take it as a good one. Okay, the system will keep flagging the noise. Right? This is all noise. We don't know what is right and what is wrong. You have to find a pattern by reviewing your data from time to time. You have to think of it as a friend who is giving you the information. Use your models. Find a specific pattern which comes, let's say at the month end, many transactions are getting passed. In the middle of the night, somebody is passing entries. Try to find a pattern first and then find an anomaly in that. Lastly, the reality check, the investigation. Whenever you find something is going wrong from all of these things, get into investigation mode. Become Sherlock Holmes. Start doing your own research. Verify the principal. Verify the business owners. Get hold of the CR documents. Do they have a history or do they have a zero digital footprint? Typically what happens, these kind of companies, they would have been created only last year. And you will end up finding, you will be searching for where are these companies coming out of. Suddenly they're just rushing. New companies are getting created every day. Just for passing these entries, just for making this and making it look legitimate. Especially when you're paying in millions to consulting firms, look at their addresses, do some investigative research, hire a consultant to probably look at it, market research. If it is a real vendor or a real party or a ghost entity. Stop auditing the paper trail, start auditing the entity itself. It will really lead you. And as I'm just taking one step from All the President's Men, which is the movie which came, which was made about the Watergate scandal, how they identified everything about the scandal itself. It's a brilliant movie. Watch that. It's an Oscar-winning movie. They say in the movie just 3 words: follow the money. Wherever the money goes, we follow the money. And wherever we follow the money, it will definitely end us and lead us to the places where we ought not to be, to identify that. I mean, we are not supposed to be someplace. That's what the bad actor wants us to do, right? And we will exactly land in that place because we are not looking for obvious things. We are looking for the weird things here. So even if you can implement any of these in your own work today, starting today, Monday, probably after these holidays, whenever you are starting it off, put this into your head that you can start with even the smallest things. The pebbles will help you even bring down the Goliath. I'm going to give you a 90-day action plan. I'm not going to leave you hanging and high and dry. This is a 90-day action plan. 3 phases, 6 steps. Now, step 1, as I told you, fix your vendor list, vendor master. If the house is a PO box number or a house, if it's address, something like that, you please flag it and review it further. Build a gate. Don't let anybody in unless you have validated their credentials. Check your bank records. Are there 2 people with the same bank account number? Look for copy-paste errors in names. ABC Consulting or consulting with a different spelling. Both will exist in your vendor master. And I'm sure if you go about it, you will find something like this in your own vendor masters. Look for it, correct it. Look for panic signs. Payments made in the middle of the night, payments made at odd hours, payment made on weekends, and so on. Finally, check out your vendors. Research them. Do they have a website? Are they real entities, or they are just goofing you up? Right? Yes. As somebody said in the chat box, small difference will lead you to something huge. Don't ignore even the small pebbles and the small mistakes which you identified. So having said all of these things, I want to leave you with this. I know we have traversed a lot of places. We have gone from the places, a bank in Brooklyn, the tape door of the Watergate Hotel, the digital mountains of the Panama Papers. We have gone everywhere. We've looked at, finding 7 differences without having any stakes. Then there was a $10 million stake, at, something at stake, and then you still were able to identify it. Really good for you that you were able to do it. But what I wanted to leave you with is that don't always look for only the Goliaths. The giant is a huge distraction which is there in front of you. Look for the small things in your life, the Luxembourgs, the trash can fire, the tape on the door. Start today, and I assure you that 1 year from now, you will really, really, really identify a lot of frauds and a lot of threats which you might have not have thought about. So thank you once again for being here. That's all that I had for the day. As I told you, it is like a appetizer. It is a start. You have to get into it, and you have to come back and tell me what will be your shot, right? What is the pebble which you might have encountered in your own career across, internal auditing, fraud finding, fraud fighting, whatever it have been. Let me know. Let us discuss. Probably we have some time for chat and question answers. Let's talk about it. Once again, thank you all. Happy Internal Audit Month. My name is Chidambaram. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm on YouTube. I have about 100 videos on YouTube. I also have an Instagram channel. Those are my handles. You can reach out to me whenever you want. I'm always available to discuss anything that you would love on auditing, on fraud, on pebbles, whatever you want to talk about. All right, I'll open it up for questions if you have any. You can either come up on audio and talk, or we can chat on the, put it on the chat.
We'll just wait for 2 minutes. If anyone has any questions on the chat, WhatsApp, or you can just unmute yourself and ask.
Thank you so much. I believe there are not many questions.
Okay.
All right, so I'll give it back to Dr. Anand for the next proceedings.
Okay, thank you very much, Chidambaram. And that brings us to the heart of the auditor's slingshot. Like David facing Goliath, today's auditor doesn't defeat the giants like data volume, technological complexity, and evolving risk through brute force. We win by being precise, agile, and courageous enough to take aim where it really matters the most. So thank you for bringing that out for all of us. That is a mindset we hope that you carry forward. Thank you all for being such an engaged audience, and a special word of gratitude to the College of Banking and Financial Studies for their sponsorship of the ACFE Oman chapter. Until the next time, thank you again for joining us, and I wish you all Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak, everyone. Have a great time. Thank you all for joining. Bye.
Thank you.